For this video tutorial, I will be demonstrating how to create this small sample conference room. You're going to see multiple commands such as inline, rotate, mirror, move, and even creating those and pulling in those dynamic blocks. For starters, we're going to go ahead and draft the shell of the space by typing in ML for our multi-line. And we want our scale to be set at, if we click on scale, we're going to say 5 because we're doing an interior space and interior walls are 5 inches. Pressing enter, we're going to go ahead and begin to draft. Turning on your ortho will help with this. Typing in 16 feet, going down to 24 feet, another 16 feet in the opposite direction. And then up, we can say 24 feet. When we are at the end, we can just press enter to come out of the command. If we scroll in close, we can type in ML and then edit. And what it would do for us is it's going to bring up your edit tools. These edit tools is going to allow you to select to join your corners. So if you select the join corner option, then you can click on your two lines to go ahead and finish it off. Now, because we use that inline command, when I select everything is going to populate because it comes in as if it's one unit, as if we exploded, as if we created it like a block. If we want to separate walls ever, we can just hit the explode, and then now all of our lines are separated individually. From here, we can double check our measurements by using our quick measure tool. And the exterior line should be 16 feet and the wall should be 24 on the outside. Inside is 15 feet 2 inches by 23 feet 2 inches. From here, we're going to go ahead and place our first piece of furniture, which is going to be the credenza on the back wall. And in zooming in, our credenza has a measurement of 96 inches long by 24 inches deep, but it is found to be 4 feet off of this left interior wall. So having your polar tracker on or your object snaps tracking on, we're going to go ahead and begin to draft. If I use the rectangle tool, I can come to this corner and use my polar tracking to type in how far I want my furniture to be off of the wall. We're going to say 4 feet. Press enter. And then now this is where my rectangle is going to begin. Type in D for dimension and give that length of 96 inches by 24 inches. Left click to drop it in place, and we now have our credenza. We can choose to move this credenza at least 1 inch off of the back wall. So I'm just selecting the item, going to the move tool, clicking the midpoint, so that's where I want to grab. You can grab anywhere, and just move my mouse forward and type in 1 inch and press enter. And now it has moved it 1 inch off of that back wall. We're going to repeat this same kind of step for this conference table. The conference table has a distance of 5 inches off of the left interior wall, and not 5 inches, 5 feet off of the left interior wall, and 6 feet from the bottom. So again, I'm going to use my triangle, or I can use my polar tracking to kind of create that marker. Polar tracking here is going to go up the wall 6 feet. But then it's also going to come over from the bottom of the wall. Polar tracking is on again. We're going to say 5 feet. And this corner is where I'm going to start my conference table. The conference table has a measurement of 12 feet by 4 feet, or 4 feet by 12. So if I select it, begin to drag and type in D for distance, or for dimensions, and the first measurement is going to be 4 feet. and then 12 feet. Left click to drop it, and now I have my conference table placed. I can go ahead and delete off that guide that I created using my object snap. At this point, I can go ahead and now begin to place my chairs around the table. Before doing that, if you already have a chair created, you can go ahead and bring it in. If not, this chair is a 2 by 2 feet 2-inch chair, perfectly around, and our arms are 5 inches, and the backs of our chair, or one backing, or you can do 2, is going to be 3 inches and then 4 inches. And our arms are 1 foot 6 inches long. You can also create this and pull this in as a block. Please see other videos to understand how to create a block from an already created object. But with this one chair in, I'm going to go ahead and select it, and let's just copy it. Grabbing it from the center point, I'm going to go ahead and place it at the top of my conference table. And then I'm going to give it a spacing off of the table by selecting it and moving it. Click anywhere to just move. Make sure that ortho is turned on. And I'm going to type a distance of 1/8 of an inch so that it is not buried on the table. And then go ahead and rotate the other chair. And now we're going to move this to the center of the left side of the table. And again, we're going to copy, or we're actually going to move and give it a distance of 1/8 of an inch as well. Now we're going to copy this chair on both sides to the left and right. In doing that, I'm going to select copy after I've grabbed the object. Specify the base point. I'm just going to go to the arm, the outside arm of the chair, and move my mouse over. I want to array this, which means I'm going to copy it perfectly perpendicular and typing in the letter A. I want to array this twice, so the number of items is going to be 2. Press enter, and it's asking me to specify the point or that distance that I'm looking for. I like it at the point where it is now. I see on my screen it says 3 feet 8 inches, so I'm just going to say 3 feet. And then I'm going to repeat it and move my mouse to the other side and type in 3 feet. And press enter to come out of the command. Now we need to get these chairs to the opposite side of the table. Instead of redrawing them and going through all those steps, I'm just going to select everything and come up and use the mirror tool here. That mirror, I'm going to select it, specify the point. I want it to go perfectly to the opposite side of the table. So I'm going to choose the center of the table, either at the top or the bottom, with the left click and drag my mouse. Once I see the images populate, I can left click to drop them in place. Looking at the bottom of my screen where we says erase source objects, I'm going to say no because I want to keep them. So I'm going to press in and then enter. And now I'm out of that command. From here, we are going to insert the door. Our door, we're going to use Control-3 to bring up those dynamic blocks. Going in the ones that says Architectural Imperial Samples, I have my door. Left click to bring it in and drop it in place. I can also X out. From here, my dynamic block door is created. It is a default size of 3 feet. I can use these arrows. The arrow here helps me with the opening. I can open it, and I'm going to suggest we open our door for now at 90 degrees. And now we have a 90-degree angled door. This rectangular vertical shape is the actual door slab, and of course the arc is just showing the direction of the swing. We want our door to open inward, so I'm going to rotate the door around. And then from here, I can move it into place. One way that we can place our door is just to simply make ourselves a guideline. If it's helpful, and just refreshing a tool or a command is to use your offset construction line. If you select that and hit the word offset or type in O, you're going to give a distance for this door of 6 inches. We want the door to start 6 inches from the interior wall. It's telling me to select the line and then the side. So now I have my markings. From here, I can grab my door, use the move tool to grab what is supposed to be the end of the wall and come to my endpoint here, or my intersection, and drop my door. And then go ahead and select that construction line that I use as a guideline to delete it off. Use my trim tool to trim the opening of the door. From here, we are all set, and we can begin to create something that is called our layers. Going in your layers property palette, remember we're going to use the paper that has the sun by it, and we're going to create a wall layer, and we're going to have it to be white. Then we're going to create a furniture layer, and I'm just going to abbreviate that as furniture. And then we're going to create another layer and call it our door. And then our last layer is going to be our window layer. The furniture layer, we're going to have our furniture, selecting that actual color palette. We're going to make it a yellow. And select OK. The door should be blue. The window, we're going to have it a cyan color. And the walls, we're going to leave white. Now that we have our layers created, we can close out and we can identify them in the drop down. Simply going through your drawing and selecting all of your furniture, going to your drop down and putting it on your furniture layer. And doing the same for your door. Placing that on the door layer. And then all of your walls, holding down the shift key to select more than one item at a time. We're going to place this on our wall layer. If you type in Control-3 again, you're going to bring up your dynamic blocks, and now we're going to bring in our window. Closing that out, we can just select the block and make sure that window goes to the window layer. Right now, our furniture layer is current. We can always go into our layers and make sure we go to that 0 layer and make that current. To make it current, we have to check it with the green check mark, and we can switch as we need. But the default is everything will go back to the 0 layer. With your window, okay, we're going to rotate it around. And at this point, you can move and place it. We're going to choose midpoint of the actual wall here. And from there, you can also use your arrows to manipulate it and stretch it out as needed. So if I want to make this 6 feet, I just use that top arrow. It's stretched out 6 feet, and then I can move it into place. When I want to make sure that my lines are long enough here, I can again use this arrow by selecting it so that those distances match. Our walls are 5 inches. So now that I have that in place, I can go ahead and select the object and move it so that it fits in between our wall. I may want to do a little undo because they were already 4 inches long. So let's change it and just add an inch to it. So stretch this out to be 1 inch. And then from here, let's move it into place. Once you're all set with that, it is okay to go ahead and trim off, if you like, a portion of your window, or you can leave it on the wall piece that goes through it. Actually, I'm going to do it for the whole thing here. I'm going to use my line, or actually my rectangle, to just simply create myself another rectangle on top and put this on the window layer, and then go through and trim off the wall if I can move this. Trim off that part of the wall. Let's go ahead and go move that, and then trim off that part of the wall. You can leave the line there or you can get rid of it. Whichever way works for you with drafting your windows. There are many ways to draft the window and how it looks. But after that, this is your finished product. One of my lines of my actual table erased there. Let's go ahead and put that back. It's important just to be careful and pay attention to your drawing as you're drafting, because sometimes we can accidentally click things. And here you have your finished product.